Usually we serve meatballs with spaghetti, but not this version. This is my Greek-inspired meatballs, and I'm going to bake it with some lovely potatoes. This is such a delicious dish with lots of Greek flavours like lemon and spices like cinnamon and clove. So we'll start with the potatoes. I'm going to be using 3 medium to large potatoes. I'm leaving the skin on. You can peel them if you like. I like a potato that's slightly waxy and versatile so it holds its shape, and I'm going to cut them into wedges. So 3 potatoes, we'll cut them in half first and then into wedges just like that. Now I've preheated my oven and I want it to be at 180 degrees. And I like to give the potatoes a bit of a head start because they'll take longer to cook than the meatballs. So in they go. And if you had those Greek lemon potatoes, then you'll know how delicious they are. They're slightly sticky because of all the lemon juice that's added to it. So half a lemon, and you would notice that I've already zested the lemon. I want the zest for the actual meatball, so nothing goes to waste. I'll use my juicer here. We'll squeeze one of those halves over the potatoes. I'm only going to use half because that's a super juicy lemon. A good pinch of salt and some olive oil. So glug over the top, give that a bit of a jiggle, and then that goes into the oven. All right, they're going to cook for about 20 minutes while we get onto the sauce and the meatballs. For the sauce, I've just fried off some onion and garlic, and I've cooled it down slightly for a moment because I want to add a little bit of this to our meatballs to give it extra flavour. So in with the meat. You can use any minced meat you like. This is fantastic with some lamb. You could also use some pork. I'm just using beef today, and that goes in there. We'll pop that to the side. We'll turn the heat back on the sauté pan. And to this, I'll add some crushed tomatoes, 1 can of crushed tomatoes, so about 400 grams, and we'll stir that in. Now, I like to pre-cook my sauce. Not essential, but I want a richer flavour and less acidity in it. So cooking off the tomatoes just makes it that extra special. And I'll season this with some more salt and those classic Greek flavours, cinnamon, and some clove. Now stir that through. Oh, that smells fantastic. Lid goes on, turn the heat down, and this will cook for about 15 minutes. It doesn't need too much time at all. In the meantime, let's make the meatballs. So we've got our onion and garlic in here. We've got our meat. I like to make these super fluffy and moist, and you achieve that by adding some ricotta or some old bread. Now this is old sourdough, and I've soaked it in some milk. This is the best trick for beautiful texture with your meatballs. Squeeze any excess milk out and crumble it into the meat. A little more, squeezing that out. And that last little bit. To that, some salt, good pinch of salt. Some freshly cracked pepper. Oregano, so just dried oregano is fine. And that lemon zest that we reserved earlier. And finally, last binding agent, 1 egg. Okay, now that's ready to go. I'm going to give that a really good mix. Best way to do this is get your hands in there to combine it evenly. And I'm going to make these into medium-sized meatballs. All right, meatballs have been rolled. These potatoes are looking fantastic. Look how much colour we've got on them. And now what we need to do is place our meatballs in and around the potatoes. So you don't need to pre-cook the meatballs. There's enough there for them to hold their shape. So this is all about now popping it in one pan and letting it bake in the oven. All those flavours can mingle. So you don't have to be perfect here. In fact, I kind of like that rustic look. Sort of allow those potatoes to poke up if you like. Looks great. Now for our tomato sauce that's reduced slightly, I'm just going to pour that over the top, in and around. And it may not look like lots of sauce, but that's all we need. We don't want it to be swimming in it. It's just to flavour everything. Okay. Finally, a little splash of olive oil over the top. and I'll return this to the oven. So again, 180 degrees, and this will now cook for about 30 to 40 minutes, just until those meatballs are cooked. Well, these are looking fantastic. You can see they're caramelized on the top. My favorite part is the potatoes just here, where they're slightly charred, just delicious. And I love the smell of the spices, the clove and the cinnamon that we've added. Now, final garnishes, some feta in true Greek style, and I'm just going to crumble that over the top. I'm going to keep it simple with the freshness of some lemon. I've just finely sliced these. I just love that pop of colour. I like to garnish it with some parsley, just a few sprigs, don't need to chop it, and dill. Love dill with this. So generous big sprigs of dill over the top. And that is a stunning one-pan dish. Take the whole dish to the table and everyone can help themselves. It is super delicious.